welcome to this episode of HOM Entertainment. I'm Samantha Diehl.
And I'm Danneisha McDole.
Today we're here at the Wharton Center for Performing Arts to interview some cast members from To Kill a Mockingbird. So let's go take a look. All right, now we are inside the Wharton Center and I'm here with Emmy Award winning actor Richard Thomas, who plays Atticus Finch in the Broadway version of To Kill a Mockingbird. So starting easy, is this your first time in the Lansing area?
It is my first time in the Lansing area. It's great. And one of the great things about touring is you get to visit parts of the country you've never been to, and every place has got something special, and East Lansing is beautiful.
All right, well, thank you. So I first read To Kill a Mockingbird in 9th grade, but how familiar were you with the book prior to being cast?
Well, I read, like most school kids, I read the book. I don't know if it was middle school or maybe freshman year of high school. And I loved it. I thought it was a wonderful book. I was very engaged by it. And of course, I saw the movie when, as a boy, and I loved that picture too. But I reread the book before I started learning the play as a preparation for doing the tour. So rereading it as an adult, and especially as a parent, was a revelation. It reminded me that it's not a YA novel at all. It's a novel for adults, but young people enjoy it because they're developing their sense of social justice and their feelings about community and all of that at that age. So, but to read it as a parent and as a mature person, it was really a great surprise. I loved it.
I actually haven't read it since 9th grade, so like going in, seeing the show, and then it was like reliving it again, but it makes me want to read it now as an adult.
Yeah, absolutely. I recommend it. It's a beautiful book.
And had you seen the play at all? The past versions?
I did. I saw Jeff Daniels do it in New York, and we talked about it a lot, and they had invited me to do the tour. And I loved it. It's a great production, and Bart Shearer's direction is beautiful, and you've got 23 wonderful actors on stage, so it's a great experience all the way around.
Yeah, and Atticus Finch, that's such an iconic character for years now. What was it like? Did you feel any pressure taking on that role?
Well, not really. It's funny about these parts. You know that it's a big deal because it's a role that is so real to so many people. I mean, he's one of those characters who actually seems to people think of him as a real person and not as a fictional character, right? So he's very vivid in people's minds, and people have their own picture internally, or they're thinking about Greg Peck, or they have their internal vision of who Atticus is. And what you have to do is, in the first minutes of the play, you have to help them shift their perspective and accept the Atticus that they're actually looking at, and who's different. But I felt like it was a good part for me, and I felt like it was a comfortable role for me to play, and so beautifully written, and such a pleasure to learn that, and it's a pleasure to speak as well. That I didn't worry too much about it. I thought, yeah, it's a good part for me. Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad. Do you have a favorite scene that you like to perform?
That's a great question, and a question that doesn't get asked very, very often. If you're doing a really good play, over the course of a run, especially if you have a nice long run, different parts of the play come forward to you and reveal themselves at different times. You'll learn something special about. All of a sudden, you'll begin loving one particular scene more. And then that'll kind of recede, and once you've explored that, and then another scene will come forward. I think there's so many great scenes in it. I think that just in terms purely of the construction and the architecture of the scenes, this Atticus's cross-examination of May Ewell is a beautifully written scene because it goes through so many changes, and it's a very, very exciting scene to play.
It is, and to witness too, just so much emotion.
Yeah,
the whole time, the whole show, there's a lot of emotion, but especially in the courtroom scenes.
I know.
But the crowd loves it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of feelings. It's funny, it's sad, it's a very engaging evening, I think.
What's the most rewarding part of playing the role of Atticus?
Well, I don't know that there's one salient thing,
Hmm.
but for instance, if you're playing any great part in a really great piece of writing, what is special about it is that at the end of the evening, you feel like you've had a complete experience,
Hmm.
that you've left everything on the field and that there's nothing left, and that the play has allowed you to fully inhabit and fully engage with it. Um, that's the feeling you have after you finish a great Shakespeare role, a big Shakespeare part, of which I've done many, and it takes all of you to
Hmm.
do it, and it requires everything you have, and at the end of the evening, you feel like you've had a full and complete experience, and you want the audience to have had that experience as well.
Yeah, 100%. Touching on that, throughout your career, you've played roles in Broadway, non-Broadway shows, as well as starred in film and television. Do you have a favorite medium that you?
Oh, I'm a theater child. I
Okay.
I, I love film. It's a great medium, and I'm not saying one is better than the other in any way. And I've certainly had a wonderfully successful career in front of the camera, for which I'm very grateful. And I've done it my whole life. But theater for me is the mother art. It's my home base as an actor, and it always has been. And touring is a wonderful way to experience to practice theater. Taking because there are so many wonderful theaters and audiences all across the country, not just in New York and Chicago and L.A. But all throughout the country. There are people who love coming to the theater, and they're great audiences, and so that's a particularly exciting way to practice theater.
Yeah. And for my final question, if someone's never seen this show before, what would you expect? What would you want to tell them about it?
Oh, I think first of all, it's enormously entertaining. I think it's very funny, and it's also very sad, and it's very. I think the audience will be engaged in many, many, many different ways.
Hmm.
And also, if you love the material as a young person or as an adult, if you love the story, it's great to have a favorite story told to you. If you love this story, let us tell it to you. And I think you'll have a really, really good, full and complete experience of theater.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining
Oh,
us
thank
today,
you.
taking
My
the
pleasure.
time, and for answering my questions.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Hmm.
Hello, I am here with Jacqueline Williams, multi-award winning actress. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely.
Yes, so we're going to get started with To Kill a Mockingbird, the ultimate novel, play, and movie, just unforgettable and always seen throughout high schools and middle schools. So I want to talk about your character, Calpurnia.
Hmm.
A very unique character, functions in both the white and black communities of Macomb, very separate and very challenging as well too. What do you admire most about her character since taking on this role?
Uh, uh, Calpurnia is wonderful. I love her wisdom. I love her wit. I love her humor. And I love her honesty. And she's just pure truth, and a loving surrogate mother figure to the kids, and just a wonderful person in that community and in the Finch family.
Absolutely. She plays a major role too,
Hmm.
especially when it comes to the Finch family as well. And what does Calpurnia symbolize in To Kill a Mockingbird?
Well, I guess you could say she is a foil, a partner to Atticus, and that they're really more like brother and sister and confidants of each other. Um, and As the makeup of her character, she really symbolizes truth and wisdom and a way to hope.
Absolutely, especially for both sides too, when it comes to the black community and the white community, and especially when it came down to the trial as well too. She really just, in a way, just tried to bring everyone together towards the end as well too.
Well, there are things that Atticus, as liberal as he is, can't
Mhm.
possibly know or understand from the Black perspective.
Yes.
And Calpurnia, schools him on many of those things. You know, they have the strong relationship and trust where they can go toe to toe. They can disagree. You know, many things they do agree on, and they can. They're very playful with each other as well. Um, so uh, yeah, so she is that voice of the Black community and the Black perspective for Macomb 1934 for Atticus for sure. Mhm.
Absolutely. And the last question is, what do you hope, no matter how many times audience and first goers come in to watch To Kill a Mockingbird, what do you want them to remember out of this play?
Well, what I want them to remember is what I want them to do, which is to leave having some conversation, if not with someone else that they viewed it uh, with themselves, and ask themselves what they have done in their past to make things better. What can they do moving forward to make things better? And to remember that a way to change is just simply by trying to have some common respect and understanding of each other. That can take us a long way.
Absolutely. And that's what this movie and play and novel overall represents. And overall, having that growth to keep in mind.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for sitting with me. And
Thank you.
congratulations again. And you're going to continue on doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for watching this episode of HOM Entertainment. To Kill a Mockingbird will be playing until October 8th. Make sure to purchase your tickets online at WarrenCenter.com. Thank you for watching.
See you next time.